Hey y'all, so we're gonna do something different. Since the Bravo Network is light on the content, I'm gonna dig into the archives, and as y'all know, Peacock added a whole bunch of different shows for us to watch in the meantime. I think the next Housewives franchise is in 2 weeks. That's Real Housewives of New Jersey. But right now, there are no Housewives on right now. And someone tracked it. We haven't had this since Obama was president. Since then, there's always been a housewife on Bravo, like at least playing. But yeah, so it's gonna be a light week this week, but I wanted to do Blood, Sweat, and Heels because it was one of my favorite shows. I mean, as y'all know, it tragically ended in season 2 with a brawl, not to mention the passing of Daisy, who was just such a light on the show. But yeah, it feels like looking into a time capsule. So yes, please join me in rewatching this series. You can watch it on Peacock seasons 1 and 2. So I'll be doing season 1, 2 episodes at a time since I already saw it on Netflix. So yeah, right now this will be my review for episodes 1 and 2 of Blood, Sweat, and Heels season 1. Let's get into it. We open with a few of the ladies already, like in a montage. We're introduced to Micah, Demetria, Daisy, and then Melissa Ford. And it's in the backdrop of New York, which was another reason I love this show. So I feel like Melissa Ford was the one that was heading this show, and this was when she just came off of being a video vixen and just trying to make her way. I think present day, she's on a podcast or something. Y'all can let me know in the comments. But we're starting with her in her confessional, and ooh, these eyebrows. These eyebrows, y'all. Y'all gotta go back and watch it. She's giving us a history of her background. She was one of the highest paid video vixens in the industry. She really was everywhere. She was that girl. From what she's saying, she wants to get away from the video girl image and be taken seriously. She basically saying she realized that the money ain't coming in anymore. She's single now. She was dating Flo Rida. Remember him? I feel like he's still, well, no, he ain't making hits anymore. He's not as relevant anymore, but he was one of those dated, successful artists, like, of the early 2000s. Melissa's definitely giving bougie on a budget. You know, girl, I get it. I'm bougie on a budget. So it looks like she's ventured into real estate. And I mean, who hasn't? It's really get rich quick money. You can tell she's just getting started. It seemed like one night she was watching $1 Million Listing and she was like, I could do that. So she got some white people in charge of a brokerage to take a chance on her. So then meanwhile, across town in Harlem, we're with Micah in her apartment. Wacky ass Micah, Lord. I mean, y'all gotta remember her. Oh, what a first season. Like, she was one of the reasons to watch this show. She really had the personality of Jade from Top Model, just real kooky. She's talking to her man who, he looks like somebody. He's kind of Ninja Turtle looking with that bald head, but he does look like a celebrity. It escapes my mind right now. So we get a little background on Micah. She owns a successful New York modeling agency. She used to be a model. With these pictures, I see why she just decided to just do her own agency. It looked like modeling wasn't in the cards for her, but it seemed like she knows how to coach other models to be successful. So now we're back with Melissa looking at this property with the other brokers, and it looks like they're just showing her the ropes. So they're just giving her a little pop quiz, just saying, how would you sell this house? Of course she was not prepared. I think she put more effort into dressing up to go see the penthouse that they're trying to sell. Yeah, I see why this didn't work out for her. I'm glad she chose another path. We got to her confessional, and again, she's saying she is hard-pressed to start making money. Yeah, she was definitely broke her first season. So next scene, we head to Brooklyn, where we're introduced to Demetria. Now, Demetria, she is an author, blogger, entrepreneur, like all the other ladies. And I actually heard of her. So this is back, 10 years ago. I think I was just moving to New York, and when I was working for Amanda Seales, we were talking about the show, and she knows Demetria, and she was telling me, I can't believe she did that show. I was asking her, girl, why did you do that? But looking back at it, I could definitely see her being friends with Amanda. And I like Demetria on the show. I'm just saying she has that same aura as Amanda, where she has to let you know that she's the smartest person in the room. Demetria then introduces us to her fiance, Greg. Seemed like she's head over heels for him, and I wonder if they're still together present day. As I'm watching them drive in this humble car through Brooklyn, it's just what I love about this show was kind of like similar to Gallery Girls on Bravo. Like, it's just, we're seeing ambitious, driven women trying to make it in the city. I just love that. Like, it's just so relatable because living in New York, it ain't easy. And everyone's trying to, fulfill their dreams, etc. So that's why I love this show. So speaking of driven and ambitious, we are introduced to Daisy for the first time. And she's just so bubbly and gregarious, and rest in peace to Daisy too. So whenever there's some foolishness going on, y'all, I'm just, reviewing what I see. I am not speaking ill of the deceased. I'm just reviewing the show. I just wanted to get that out the way. But yes, when I think of Daisy on this show, I think of a smile with that bright ass lipstick. Like, it would light a room. So they're at this design benefit, and it just so happened that Demetria is there too. They greet each other, and they've known each other for years, according to Daisy. Interesting, they just get straight into the sex life talk, and it seems like Daisy, she can't even remember the last time she had sex, and Demetria is urging her to change that. We cut to Daisy's confessional. She says Jesus is her husband. So fast forward to the next day, I guess, we're with Daisy again, and she's hosting a Brooklyn brunch series where she invited all the ladies. Also, my first impression of Daisy, she is about her business. Like, she's an opportunist in a positive way. So then we cut to some of the ladies getting ready. We're with Micah, and as she's getting her makeup done, we're introduced to Geneva coming over, and they're going to the brunch together. And then right after Geneva arrives, Bree comes over as well. We're introduced to her. She kind of gives me like a Katie Ross from Potomac vibe. Like, she tries to do this whole prim and proper shtick when she's probably a hot mess in private. I'm assuming they all live in Harlem, and that's why they're just meeting up. They're all just gonna go to Brooklyn together. So then we cut to Micah asking her man Terry for a glass of water with some Sauvignon Blanc in it. And I think this is the start of when production tries to make it seem like Micah is an alcoholic. It does come off that way though. We see Bree in the other room. Isn't she driving? And yes, she is driving, but she's like, don't treat me like a 22-year-old, as she sips her Sauvignon Blanc. She definitely gives a driving drunk tea. I'm just being honest. So a little later, we see Micah get behind the wheel as they finally head to Brooklyn. They are on CP time because the event definitely started. Demetria is there, but she lives in Brooklyn. I get it. I used to live in Harlem, and to get to Brooklyn is a commitment. Let me tell you. They definitely should have left like an hour ahead of time. They probably left as the event was starting. They're making all the jokes. They're saying going to Brooklyn is like going to Delaware, which I agree. Like, I could get to Philly quicker than Brooklyn. What I also thought was funny, they're talking about what they think Daisy is wearing because she loves yellow. And then Bree and Geneva chime in, yeah, she probably got a bright lip and that Gayle King hair. So the ladies arrive, they're not too late, and everybody's getting along for now. So Melissa's the last to arrive. She actually lives in the financial district, which is all the way downtown. I mean, at least she's closer. Like, the other ladies are coming from north, in Manhattan, Harlem. So it should take longer for them to get there than Melissa. So the event moves along. The ladies are already criticizing the food, but later on they're having kind of like an open mic discussion. And I'm guessing they're choosing broad topics, like the type people argue about on Twitter. They're going back and forth on it all day. Daisy is definitely trying to be in her Oprah bag. It's giving slight delusion, but the ladies are going with it. Child, with the first topic, Daisy go to Micah. Micah's slurring her words already. I hope she's not driving back. So the next topic Daisy talks about is, can a woman run the world? And some of the ladies is like, of course. And Demetria says that's a dumb question. I mean, I agree. And again, this is 10 years ago. Maybe people think different now. But hearing some of these answers, it makes sense why Hillary lost in 2016. So other ladies who think a woman can't lead or run the presidency, it's Bree, who comes off very dumb, saying, I think women are way too emotional in our decisions and our thoughts. Ooh, she would have been cooked on Twitter. Thankfully, like, social media wasn't as, I guess, as prevalent on the Bravo shows as they are now. I know she probably looks back at this episode and cringe. So Demetria doesn't like this answer at all, and she's debating back and forth with her. She's making all the sense. I agree with her. And Bree just sounds stupider and stupider. Not her saying men are more stable. The fuck? Oh no, Daisy is agreeing with Bree. Yeah, I think this is the moment I put my head in my hands, because I was like, no, Daisy, you too smart for that. Bringing up that women can't lead because of emotions and periods. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely a sign of the times. Like, if a woman is leading a man, then something's wrong with that picture. That's what she says in her confessional. So then Daisy pivots from men are leaders intrinsically to them being cheaters. And Demetria disagrees with her again, saying just lies. Like, she feels very strongly about her opinion, and it seems like the other ladies are taken aback by it. But I mean, somebody got to speak up, and I think you got to be aware you're on TV too saying this. So as the ladies being very opinionated, I noticed Melissa, she's just keeping quiet, no matter like how she feels on the matter. And it just looks like Demetria is on the island. I'm guessing Daisy put the mic away, so now they're just arguing amongst themselves. This is now turned into an episode of The View, y'all. So as they're still arguing, Daisy tells Demetria that she thinks she's very, very harsh and not compassionate. Yeah, they're all trying to jump on her right now. And then Micah's calling Demetria sheltered. We cut to Melissa's confessional. I mean, since she's so quiet in the moment, she's saying she doesn't think that Demetria isn't compassionate. She just hates weakness in women because she's so strong. I can see that. So I guess the brunch is over. They stopped talking about it. Thankfully, Micah's boyfriend is driving them all home. But as Micah's leaving, she noticed she dropped her earring, and as she gets it, she falls on the ground. I think she breaks her drink. Yeah, she's hammered. As they're all leaving, we're in the car with the girls headed back to Harlem, and they're just saying there was no food there. They called that cheese grits. We need some real food. Yeah, it looks like Daisy's event was light on the food, but heavy on the liquor. So the ladies are back at Micah's. They're continuing to drink wine amongst each other, and they're just talking about Demetria at the event, thinking that she's a know-it-all. So the ladies are trying to figure out why Micah was so passionate about the topic of cheating earlier. So she tells them that when she first met Terry, she was actually the other woman, and he was in a 20-year relationship, and she did not know that. As Micah's sharing this, she gets emotional, but I'm sure it's the combination of the liquor as well. This scene is also awkward because Terry is there. He's just in a different room in the apartment. Thankfully, I guess he couldn't hear them. So I'm just trying to get the timeline. She's explaining it. I'm guessing she forgave him eventually. She does say that he still talks to the woman that he was with for 20 years. He's trying to leave that situation. But he just moved in with her under a year ago. Interesting. After that, they're just playing around now. So next scene we're with Demetria as she's talking to her fiance. So of course she's unloading to him like what happened at brunch, and she just can't believe the opinions that the other ladies have. So now she's inspired to write on her blog about it. Greg kind of warns Demetria that the ladies might have something to say about this, and she don't give a fuck. She's gonna write about it. Yeah, she definitely felt some type of way after that brunch. She popped that laptop open and just started typing furiously. So next scene, we're with Daisy as she goes to get a Brazilian wax. And yes, she brought the cameras in the room. Her legs, high heels are in the air. Fast forward. Oh my God. So as she's getting waxed, like she takes a phone call from Micah as her legs are in the air. So Micah tells her that she's actually in Brooklyn and she wants to meet up with her to talk about something. So now she's on her way to the salon to meet Daisy. Meanwhile, we see Melissa and Geneva meet up for lunch, and Geneva is telling Melissa, oh, did you see Demetria wrote about Daisy's brunch in her blog? So then we go back to Daisy and Micah's telling Daisy the news as well. So we're going back and forth between scenes. It looks like Demetria went in on the other ladies, but at least she didn't name them. But they all know that she's talking about them. So Daisy is furious as she's reading it. Now I'm wondering, what do y'all think? Is Demetria in the wrong for writing her blog about Daisy's brunch? I mean, it is her blog, but she definitely should have expected the ramifications of doing that. She knew it was gonna piss the other ladies off if she did it anyway. So I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence. Let me know what y'all think. So yeah, most of the ladies are livid with the exception of Melissa because she kept her mouth shut. But she does understand why the ladies are angry with Demetria. So Geneva's saying that she got some tea on Demetria, saying she knows for a fact that she's been the other woman before. And then we cut to Daisy saying, this is why I don't like bloggers that just sit behind their computers and gain weight. What? Oh my God, not fat shaming. This whole situation definitely set the groundwork for the show. The drama has now started, and now Micah thinks it's a good idea to have all the ladies over at her place for dinner to talk it out. So then Micah sends the invite to the group chat. We see all the ladies got it, and Geneva is definitely looking forward to giving Demetria a piece of her mind. She's like, she better not write about me again, or cease and desist. And that is where the first episode ends. It was so good. Entertaining from beginning to end. Let's get to episode 2. So we open the episode with Melissa being chastised by her business manager, saying that she is spending beyond her means. And she's aware of it. It looked like she's talking to her dad the way he's scolding her. He's asking her, why leave the entertainment industry completely? And he has a point. I mean, if you don't want to be a video vixen, like move on to other things in the media. And it seems like, present day, she got the hint. But she's talking about real estate, saying, your first year is extraordinarily difficult. Yes, I'm sure any of you who are in real estate know how hard it is. She also says business has picked up, but she has not sold anything yet. Even though she don't like what this man is telling her, he's making all the points. It's all about multiple streams of income. Hell, make the appearances. If somebody gonna pay you $5 to $10K just to show up, drink, take pictures, and talk to people, you better go to the back of that closet and get that freakum dress. Side note, those eyebrows of hers are still looking crazy. Next scene, we're with Geneva in Harlem, and we're just getting the background on her. She's been in New York for 6 years. She's a writer. She does something else because she's saying that writing just by itself does not pay the bills. And look, it's a tale as old as time. If you're trying to live out your passion, especially in a city like New York, most of the time you're gonna have to find that gig or job that just keeps you sustainable until your passion becomes your profit. Especially your main profit. I know, it's a journey, believe me. So she's talking to her mom via FaceTime, and it's much like the discussion that we just saw with Melissa Ford and her business manager. Her mom is chastising her on what she needs to do to be successful. Now see, these are the stories I want to see from my Black Bravo content. Not everybody got to be like Housewives rich. There's other stories to tell. I mean, we got Summer House Martha's Vineyard, but it's not pulling me in like this. I have to go back in the archives and review something more interesting. Side note, Geneva and this banging. It looked good. I'm just saying it is sharp. So next scene, we're with Demetria meeting Bree for lunch. So of course the gist of the conversation is about Demetria's blog, and Bree doesn't appreciate how hard Demetria went on her as well as the other ladies. Bree says that they should be allowed to have different opinions. True. But when you say something that's just not factual, you don't think women can lead better than men, and then she continues to defend this wrong opinion of hers. I will say though, they're having a grown woman conversation. They're not screaming at each other, no insults have been flown. They're saving that for the end of the episodes with the other ladies. So they're able to just move on about it, but Bree does tell her that the other women are very offended, especially Daisy. Bree is saying that Daisy didn't like that something that was so private was made public. And I agree with Demetria, this wasn't a private conversation. She had a mic. Next scene we're with Melissa. She just walks into the brokerage. It looks like her boss is already pissed at her for one, just coming in at any time of the day. Then we see that she doesn't even know her password to her account. So she's talking to her boss in the office and she's just saying she has to take this more seriously. Like, for one, you have to get here early. I want to see you here before me. Melissa is literally the poster child of how people fail in the real estate industry. So Melissa's just absorbing what her boss is telling her. We cut to her confessional. She's saying she's 36 and starting her life over. I mean, sometimes in your 30s, particularly your mid and late, it be like that. You're always thinking in the back of your head, man, I should be at this stage in my life. Well, newsflash, like in the grand scheme of things, like we're all just a work in progress and still trying to figure it out. Next scene we're with Daisy is she's just getting back to her apartment and she's on the phone with Bree saying that she's late for a date. Well, the way she moving, it looked like she don't really care that she's late. But as she's getting ready, she definitely just shifted her wig on camera. I mean, you gotta love her. I love Daisy on this show. So next scene we're with Melissa as she's on her way to Micah's apartment. They're about to have a little Kiki. We're with Micah's crazy ass as she has a glass of wine in her hand, of course, and she starts giving it to her pet Chinchilla. Now, present day, if this happened, Twitter would eat her ass up, especially PETA. PETA probably would have got involved trying to get this show canceled. And then Micah knows what she doing is wrong. We see her in her confessional. She's like, oh, people have a problem with me giving wine to my Chinchilla. Well, you know what? Wine kills humans too. That is her reasoning. And just look at this. And look at that makeup. I mean, that is 2010 for you. And right after her Chinchilla licks out of her white wine, she continues to drink out of it. Whew. I love this show. So Melissa arrives and she's just venting her frustrations with her job and real estate itself to Micah. She's saying she didn't bank on it being so hard and expensive. Girl, maybe the industry just not for you. As Melissa continues to talk to Micah, it looked like Micah just checked out because she's drunk. Imagine that. I also think Micah was drunk at least 8 out of 10 episodes this season. Next scene, we're back with Daisy as she arrives to her date extremely late. Side note, she's actually at Brooklyn Moon Cafe. I used to go there all the time. Their brunch is amazing. They had dollar mimosas. I would tear those pineapple mimosas up. I wonder if they're still there. I want to go back. I mean, it's been since pre-pandemic, so I'm not really sure if they survived it. Anywho, the guy she's meeting, she met him at an event, and he's Demetria's fiance's cousin. She said she thought he was gay at first, and actually, I can see how she thought that. Anywho, he is pissed at her. And yeah, I can kind of understand because she was supposed to meet him at an event, and not only was she late to that, it looked like she was late to dinner as well. And then she just comes all bubbly. Hi, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm surprised he still met up with her. I think it's because it looks like she's not remorseful about it, and it's pissing him off even more. I will say, though, he's borderline being an asshole about it. I mean, she's there now. Like, either you can harp on it or you can move on. But if you're still mad about it, maybe you just shouldn't have met her. Damn, he even shaded her in front of the waitress. And they're still sparring with each other passive-aggressively. And at this point, I think Daisy should have just left the date. This is one of the worst dates I've ever seen on television. Poor Daisy, she's just smiling through it. Also, why is Daisy complaining to him about Demetria on this date? Oh my God, and as the food comes to the table, they eating, his plate falls right into his lap. I mean, I will say though, those tables are small as fuck. We cut to Daisy's confession. She's like, that's what you get. And this date is still going on, y'all. Like, make it stop. And then Daisy's lack of self-awareness is on overdrive as she continues to complain to him about Demetria, his cousin's fiance. So then he just goes off on her. I find you selfish and self-serving. This conversation is heavily edited because now I don't know what they're talking about. She then starts to cry at the table. So then the check comes and Daisy decides to cover it. As she pays it, she gets up and goes to the bathroom and starts crying. The guy could give 2 shits, and that's where the scene ends. Man, like, this scene was just so awkward. In any case, y'all, if Brooklyn Moon Cafe is still open and you're in New York, give it a shot. So next scene, it's the evening of Micah's dinner where all the ladies are going to get together, and I'm sure the drama is going to be surrounding Demetria's blog. So Bree is the first person to arrive, and Micah's butler slash boyfriend is there. He makes her a drink, and this was an awkward scene. Bree says she's not used to people giving her drinks, and she didn't see them make it. So she actually tells Micah's boyfriend to taste it before she does. We cut to her confessional. She says she's the least sheltered person in this group. She don't trust nobody. That was a little extreme to me. You really think your friend's boyfriend would drug you on camera? So all the ladies are arriving, and Micah is on 12 already. Glass of white wine in her hand, like she's fanning. Geneva says she's giving drag queen at the door. Damn, so not all the ladies are there yet. Micah said the dinner started at 8. It's already like 9:10, so Daisy's just getting there. I'm assuming Demetria is gonna get there last, but it is the Brooklyn girls, and Micah lives in Harlem. And again, Harlem to Brooklyn and vice versa, it's a commitment. So all the ladies are finally there, and dinner starts. Everyone is cordial for now. Micah is seeing Grace at the table. She is lit. She's like, oh God. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I am enjoying reviewing this show already. This is what Potomac should feel like. This is what it used to feel like when I was reviewing it. So immediately after Grace, they cheers, and Daisy already calls out Demetria. She's trying to just get right into it. Demetria's like, Daisy, can we get through the appetizer first? The verbiage is already aggressive between the two women. I do think the way Daisy came at Demetria is the reason why she's getting that response out of her. Had she brought up the topic like Bree did, instead of being flippant, sarcastic, and shady, maybe Demetria would have been nicer. Meanwhile, in the background, Micah is drunk and yelling to the top of her lungs at her boyfriend like a butler. So as they're talking about it, Geneva jumps in now. The way Demetria is, like, she don't give no fucks. Oh, you got a problem with the blog too? Now, in the other lady's defense, I do think Demetria can take some accountability of being very judgmental. I would love to know whose side y'all on in the matter. So now they're having this debate about not trusting a man and snooping when you think he's cheating. And it looks like it's the whole table against Demetria. Even Melissa jumps in and says, look, love trumps everything else. Demetria don't give a damn. She's like, love ain't shit. I agree with Demetria. I'm like, what's love got to do with it? I mean, if you can't trust a person, why are you there? So now Geneva and Demetria are going back and forth, and then Daisy is tag teaming. They're both going at Demetria, but Demetria's handling them both pretty well. So now things go even more left when it looks like Geneva is threatening Demetria not to write about her again. And Demetria's like, well, I can't promise that. I can't guarantee that. Geneva says, well, it's going to be a problem next time. Demetria's like, no, it's not going to be a problem. What you going to do, throw a glass? What you going to do? We got to Geneva's confessional. She's telling production, I did not threaten Demetria. Yes, you did. You said, well, if you talk about me again, it's going to be a problem. What do you think that is? So the back and forth still going on, and now Geneva trying to pull a gotcha moment on Demetria saying, so you never ever snooped on anybody. Demetria says no, and then Geneva says, well, I have reliable sources on you. Demetria's like, don't lie on me. You don't have any reliable sources on me. So they're going back and forth on that now. I gotta give Demetria props for still being at the table during this. Oh, well, speaking of that, Demetria then excuses herself and tells Mike, I have an early flight in the morning, so I'm gonna leave. So Demetria leaves, her fiance picks her up. We see her venting to him soon as she sits in the car. Meanwhile at Micah's, Melissa's telling the women, I think Demetria got the point, like everyone's pissed, and I think we should give her another chance. But of course Geneva and Daisy have something to say about that. It looks like Melissa's pretty neutral in the situation, and at least Bree defended Demetria and called out Daisy for starting the conversation hostile in the first place. Geneva then suggested they ice Demetria out from the group. They end the conversation there, and drunk-ass Micah starts performing for the ladies at the end of the table like some drag queen with some Vegas ostrich feathers. And that is where the episode ends, y'all. So chaotic, so entertaining. I would love to know y'all thoughts on the episode and whose side y'all on. I will continue to do season 1 and episodes of 2. So the next one will be episodes 3 and 4. I'm hoping y'all can watch the old episodes on Peacock and then join the conversation with me. So with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.